All right, we'll go ahead and get started with Bryce. Charlie, go ahead.
Hey, Bryce. Two-thirds through the regular season, what would you say you've learned the most through your first eight starts?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of learning points, a lot of stuff that I've been able to individually and us as a team we've been able to learn. I think one of the biggest things that I think we've individually I've learned and really been trying to work on is how important the cohesion of the unit is, how important it is to communicate, to be on the same page, and how much practice really goes into that. I think a big part of when we have success is when we're all on the same page. We all understand what's going on. We're all executing the game plan as it's supposed to be. And then, when we run into our issues, it kind of stems from that. So I've learned a lot about how important it is to make sure that we're always talking, making sure that any questions that have to be asked during the week are asked, and making sure we're all on the same page. And that's probably one of the biggest things I've learned so far.
John Zener, go ahead.
Yeah, Bryce, along those same lines, you had a week to finally kind of slow down and evaluate your play and everything. What did you see that you think you can and will do better from here on out this season?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that I can improve on. This is a good opportunity for me to, do some self-evaluation, do some evaluations as a unit, and, talking to the coaches about what we feel like we need to improve on as a unit, and then, what I have to improve on individually. I feel like there's a lot of things my decision making, just us being on the same page and us communicating, whether that be with protections or whether that be with routes and signals, with blocks to the receivers, whatever it is. Being more, making sure that I'm more clear with everyone, and making sure that, we're all on the same page, and that, we're trying to, eliminate pre-snap penalties and mental errors. And a lot of that stems from me. It's a lot of stuff that I see and I know, but I can do a better job of communicating. But there's a handful of stuff. There's a lot of other stuff that also we've talked about that I want to improve on and I'm working to get better on. But those are a few of the things.
Tony, go ahead.
You talk a lot about taking what the defense gives you. Have they been trying to take away the deep ball, the more explosive plays? Is that something you've been seeing from opposing defenses through 8 games?
I think it's kind of been a case-by-case basis. I think, different defenses going with different game plans, different defenses obviously running different coverages. You can see kind of the philosophies they stress on week by week. So I don't think it's been like this. I don't think it's been everyone really sharing the same ideology. It's been different defenses, different players, different coordinators, different systems. And for us, it's just our job to adapt to whatever we end up getting week by week.
Casagrande, go ahead.
Yeah, along those lines, in terms of your ability to throw the deep ball, how have you said that's progressed throughout the season, and the communication, being on the same page? How much does that really play into the deep ball like that?
Yeah, that plays into every aspect of the game. Communication, timing, being on the same page is big in the sport. So, every part of the game, every aspect at every position, again, that's something that we stress. It's something I want to improve on individually. So, it definitely plays a large role in it.
Nick Kelly, go ahead.
Hey, Bryce, when you guys score touchdowns, how do you like to celebrate, or do you guys ever kind of coordinate some of that, or what kind of goes into that?
No, it's a lot of reactionary stuff, a lot of, but anytime we're able to score, it's always fun. It's always a celebration. Everyone's always happy. So, we play against a lot of good teams, a lot of good defenses. So, we celebrate in the ways that are legal, and we have fun with it. But obviously it's just kind of a momentary thing. You have fun while you're in the end zone, and then right when you get to the sideline, you have to lock back in. You're talking about the drive, what you're going to do next drive, things like that. It's not too long and drawn out of a process, but we take it kind of case by case, and then again, it's after that we're on the sideline and we have to refocus back in. So,
Jeff Spiegel, go ahead.
Bryce, from 2009, when Nick Saban won his first national title at Alabama until now, and now he has 6 at Alabama, there have been, I think, approximately 37 head coaching changes at the other 13 schools. Auburn won a championship in 2010, fired their coach 2 years later. Auburn and Georgia got to the title game in 2013 and 2017. They haven't been back to the playoff. LSU won the championship in 2019. They fired their coach 2 years later. Why, in your opinion, and how has Nick Saban been able to maintain this level of excellence over the years?
Yeah, no, I think it's an amazing feat to see what Coach Saban has been able to do. Like you said, with there being so much movement, throughout the country and this conference everywhere, coaching is a really, there's not a lot of stability in the profession, whether it's, you're going somewhere better, or, it doesn't work out your situation. It's very hard to be consistent, especially consistent at one place. But, for Coach Saban to do it, really speaks volume to how great of a coach he is. And I think it's a lot to do with how much work he puts in, obviously, how much knowledge he has and how much wisdom that he gives to us. And, also really the system that he has set in place. He's made an environment to where, he's developed a program, developed a process, and it's something that's been able to withstand a lot of changes, whether it's change in the sport itself, a lot of coaching changes around him. And, for someone to do that, and to do it as successfully as he has, that's not something that happens in sports at all. So, it's definitely an honor for me to be able to play for Coach Saban.
Got time for two more. Charlie, go ahead.
Yeah, Bryce, yesterday, Phil Mathis said you're remembered for what you do in November. He said that's kind of something that's said around the building. Just how much have you guys talked about that, and how important is it to kind of finish these last 4 games strong to close out the regular season?
Yeah, we understand the magnitude of the games coming up and what this time of year means for us. We haven't talked really much about anything past LSU because that we know that's going to take all of our attention. We know that's going to take, a great week of preparation. It's going to take for us to perform at the highest level and the most execution that we can. So we haven't really talked about anyone farther than that or anything in the future. And we know that we can't, especially with, as talented, as good of a team as we're playing, we can't afford to look ahead. But we do also understand that, this time of year is, the games start to matter even more. It's the environments and what, just what everything means in the grand scheme of things, just keeps raising and raising. So we understand that, and we understand what that comes with. But, we haven't looked ahead or thought about the whole month. What's most important to us right now is making sure that we're prepared for Saturday.
All right, last one. Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, last month there was a video that kind of resurfaced with you and Trayshawn, and you were kind of recruiting him over to USC. It turns out you guys made it all both over here. What's your relationship like with him, and just what's the chemistry you have with him dating back to the 7-on-7 days and stuff like that?
Yeah, me and Trey have known each other for a minute. That's someone that I didn't know, obviously coming from kind of far. I didn't know too many people, before I came and before I enrolled here, but that was one that I did. So it was, he's someone that I'd known for a while, have a really good relationship with. We've always had a good relationship, always been strong. We were roommates, so it's that's someone that will always be, throughout my life, I'll always be close with.
All right, thank you, Bryce.
Hey, Christian, I'm just curious, what kind of things does Coach Saban stress to you guys coming out of a bye week?
I think just really focusing in on the details, a lot of the things that allow teams to create explosive plays on us as a defense or as a whole. Just like I said, just focusing in on those details throughout the week and getting better at those things so we can be ready for the next game.
Charlie Potter, go ahead.
Hey, Christian, being a guy from Louisiana, just how much does this game against LSU mean to you?
I mean, it's always a fun time for me to play LSU. A couple of those guys I got to play against in high school, and I knew a lot of them from high school, so it's always a fun time.
Mike Rodak, go ahead.
And I know it's going back a couple years, but when you're making that decision to go to Alabama instead of staying home at LSU, just what's it like telling people about that in your home state?
It's always tough, of course. A lot of people there are LSU fans, but at the end of the day, I had to do what was best for me and my family. So, that's what it really came down to at the end.
Charlie Potter.
Yeah, obviously a couple of years ago, LSU won in Tuscaloosa, and they had a lot to say about it after the game. Is that something that still kind of motivates you guys, even though it's been 2 years since then?
Last year, whatever year that was my freshman year. that was in the past. I think right now we just need to focus on doing what we're supposed to do, executing out our game plan for this week to give us the best opportunity to have the outcome that we want.
All right. Questions for Christian? Go ahead and raise your hand. Tony, go ahead.
Nick Saban said that he expects this game to be physical, and that's a common trend when you look at this matchup. Just what about this matchup do you think brings out the physical nature in both teams?
I think just, a lot of guys like to compete. Of course, we love to compete. So it's an SEC game, a big SEC game. It's always been a physical game. And, I think that's the most exciting part, just the physicality part. I think we all like that. That's why we came here to play SEC ball. So for games like this. So I think it's a great opportunity for us.
Charlie, go ahead.
Yeah, yesterday, Phil said that you're remembered for what you do in November. That's something you guys say around the building. Just how important is it for you guys, and how much have you talked about kind of finishing this final third of the regular season strong?
The month of November for us, especially this year, be a big jump for us. Just focusing on the remainder of the season, making sure we finish strong. That's really something Coach likes to emphasize a lot with us. It's just finishing. And I think, the month of November is the tougher part of the season. Getting later into the season. So I think, like I said, just finishing is the main focus.
Casagrande, go ahead.
When you look at film of LSU, what stands out about their offense?
They're pretty good really all around, I think. I know they have younger receivers, but their run game, their running back, he's a real tough runner, runs behind his pass. I got to play against him a lot in high school too as well. So I've been seeing him do well for a long time, and I think he's done really well for him. I think, like I said, as an offense as a whole, they have really great players, really fast players. They're pretty explosive. And like I said, they'll really present a great challenge for us.
Mike Rodak, go ahead.
Yeah, what's your relationship been like with Pete Golding, going back to the recruiting process and then continuing on as your position coach the last couple of years?
I've always had a good relationship with Pete since he started recruiting me. He's helped me a lot. Of course, knowing I never played this position before. He just came in and I learned everything I could from him and the guys that were here before that were playing here. So it's always been a good relationship.
Jeff Spiegel, go ahead.
Christian, you're a semifinalist for the Butkus Award. I know you're not hung up on awards, right now at this point, but what does that say about your development as a player and how far you've come since you got to Bama?
For me, myself, I don't think I'm anywhere near capable of what I've shown, what I've done so far. I think, like I said, the main focus right now is as a team, just winning each game, one game at a time, and getting that end result that we want. I think that's the main focus for me and everybody on our team right now. So that's all I'm really worried about.
Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, you said you had some high school matchups with the running back. Which running back are we talking about? And any memorable?
Ty Davis. Number 3, Ty Davis.
Okay. Any memorable moments with him?
Each year it was always a good game, whether it was a home game or a away game for us. Like I said, he's always bring it every game. I got to play against him a little bit in Little League as well. I got to play against him all my life, so it's been pretty cool to get the chance to do it again.
All right, last question. Go ahead, Tony.
You feel this defense can still be elite? And in your opinion, what does it mean to be an elite defense in today's game?
I think, we definitely have the capability of being an elite team. I think that comes with just executing everybody, on the same page doing their job for 4 quarters. And I think, if we do that, we can be that elite defense that we see ourselves being. And I think we're working towards that. That's why we had the bye week, to work on those little technique things, the details, to focus on that. And like I said, we got the rest of the season to finish off, and we just got to make sure we finish strong.
All right. Thank you, Christian. Bryce will be next. Go ahead and raise your hands for Bryce.